Hi students, you are welcome to Angel Health Academy. Topic for the day or topic for the session is steps in descriptive studies or components in descriptive studies. It is one of the major or most important question for the exam, that is steps in descriptive studies. As I have already discussed in the previous video, classification of epidemiological studies, I have discussed that a descriptive study is the first study in epidemiology. So it is the first phase of an epidemiological study. Okay, this is limited to only description. Okay, describing the occurrence of any diseases in the community or any health problems of the people in the community. For example, COVID-19, hypertension, diabetes, prevalence of obesity in a specific population in relation to the person, place and time. So in this study, we only assess the occurrence of any diseases in the community or any health problems of the people in the community. There are 10 steps in descriptive studies. First one is defining the research problems and objectives. Second step is defining the study population of the study or sample of the study. Third one is defining and measuring the variables, okay, study variables in the study. Fourth one is selecting the study design, type of study in descriptive study, okay, selecting the study design. Then fifth step is data collection from the samples. Sixth step is data analysis. Collected data will be analyzed. And the seventh one is interpretation of the result. Okay, result findings of the study. Then eighth one is reporting and dissemination of the study. So publication of the research report. Then recommendation for future studies or further studies. That may be analytical study and other studies. So that is recommendation for future or further studies. Then 10th, last step is ethical consideration, considering all the ethical aspects of the nursing research. So these are the 10 steps in descriptive studies. Okay. So to understand better, I have made a mnemonic, that is 6 D's, 3 R's, easy steps of descriptive studies. So it is an easy step. So if you remember that there are 6 D's in the 10 steps of descriptive studies and 3 R's and 1 easy. Okay. So first D stands for defining the research problems and question or objectives. Second D stands for defining the population of the study, sample of the study. Third D stands for defining and measuring the study variables in the statement or in the study. Fourth D stands for design selection or select the type of the study or research design for the study. Fifth D stands for data collection. Sixth D stands for data analysis. Then 3 R's. The first R stands for result interpretation. Second R stands for reporting and dissemination. Third R stands for recommendation for future studies or further studies. And last step is, that is the 10th step is EC, that is ethical consideration. So in this way you can remember the 10 steps in descriptive studies. So let us explain in detail about these 10 steps of descriptive studies. The first step is defining the research problem or research question and objectives of the research studies. So first, conducting any epidemiological study or research, first we have to make a definition, okay, for the problem we are going to find out in a group of people in the community. Okay, either it is hypertension or diabetes or COVID-19, etc. So we have to define with a specific definition for that particular problem we are going to study in a population. So clearly define the research problems we are going to study, or the problem we can even make as a research questions and we can find the answer for or solution for that research question. So thus research problem or research question, and followed by, based on the problem or question, we have to make a objectives or purpose of the research study. So we conduct the study according to these objectives and according to the purpose we are already set in the first step of descriptive study. So for example, the statement of the research problem or question can be a descriptive study to examine, to assess, okay, or to evaluate the prevalence of obesity, prevalence of hypertension. Prevalence means the present, okay, prevalence of obesity, hypertension, diabetes, COVID-19, etc., etc. in different age groups of the people at selected wards of the the place, the district or the state, the selected wards of Kannur, okay, the selected wards of Kottayam, the selected wards of Vaikam, etc. So a descriptive study to assess, to examine the prevalence of obesity in different age group of the people, those who are living in that particular ward or selected wards of Kannur. Then based on this study, we have to make objectives. So the objectives might be to describe the distribution of this particular problem and pattern of that particular disease. Okay. The pattern depends upon the PPT, that is in relation to person, in relation to place, and in relation to time. Okay. The objectives might be describe the distribution of that particular disease or the pattern of that disease, okay, in a population for a period of time or for a over time in that particular or specific wards or community. The second step is defining the study population. We are going to conduct or find out any diseases in the community among a specific people in the community. Okay. Thus specify the population of interest, that is called the study population or samples of our study in terms of number, how many, according to their age. We may study among the teenage people or among the geriatric people or among the under 5 children, etc. Okay. Age, sex, male or female, occupation. Sometimes we'll study those who are working in the agricultural field. Okay. Or according to some specific cultural characteristics and location, urban area, rural area, etc. Okay. So second step is defining the study population. In that, specify the population we are going to study. Okay. According to age group, according to sex, according to occupation, according to the patients in the different hospitals, health centers, etc. Then school children, okay, small communities in the colonies or specific wards, 5th ward, 6th ward, etc. Okay. That is about the defining the study population, second step of epidemiological study. Then third step is defining and measuring the variables of the study. Usually a study may have two variables, okay, important variable, that is independent variable or exposure and causes, and dependent variable or outcome variable. So that may be a effect or the disease. Okay. So a study may have two variables, that is independent variable and dependent variable. For example, we are going to study about the whether smoking causes lung cancer. Okay. So we select the smokers. Okay. So smoking is the cause. Will considered as a independent variable in the study. Okay. And this smoking will lead to a disease that is called the outcome. Okay, lung cancer. That will be the effect and that considered as a dependent variables. So, dear, lung cancer is dependent upon the smoking. That is the smoking is the independent variable that may lead to lung cancer. Then fourth step is selecting the study design selection. So choose a suitable, that is the most appropriate, okay, study types and design for the descriptive study. This I have been already explained in detail in the classification of epidemiological studies in my previous video. So you can go through that to get the accurate meaning. So descriptive study can be classified into population based and individual based. Okay, population based include cross-sectional study and ecological study. Individual based includes case reports and case series. In that, the best suitable type of the study or design will be selected for our present descriptive study. So the next important step is, after all the basic preparation for defining, it is important to collect the data from the study samples. So collect the relevant or appropriate data from the samples from different sources. Okay, there are many sources are there to collect the information for a particular study. Thus, data sources for descriptive epidemiology or study includes through health survey. Okay, by making questionnaires, structured and unstructured questionnaires. Okay, so we can conduct a epidemiological survey to identify any disease in the community. Okay, among the people in the particular ward or community. Then we can verify the health records. Okay, of the hospital, PHCs, etc. Then disease registries or registers in the community health center, primary health center, etc. Then vital statistics of that particular ward that is collected and recorded in the primary health center or in the panchayat, okay, or in the block development office, etc. Vital statistics. Then administrative data of that particular ward. Then census data. From census also we can collect the data as a source for data collections. Like that, there are many other resources, making interview, okay, clinical examination, etc. We can collect the relevant data for epidemiological or descriptive study. The sixth step is data analysis. After collecting the data, that is a raw data, we have to analyze the data to make a specific information for the particular study. Okay, so data analysis includes a summarization of the data. That is, raw data will be analyzed to make the specific information about the particular problem in a particular area, okay, to describe about the health problem or disease. So summarize the data, then analyze the data according to or by PPT, person, place and time, okay, to identify any trends of the or changing cycles of the particular disease present in that or prevalent in that particular community, or the pattern of the occurrence of the disease in specific age group, specific sex, okay. Some diseases are common, okay. That pattern of occurrence of disease, everything can be made by analyzing the data by person, place and time. And last one is present the findings of that particular data or information in tables, graphs, maps, etc. to facilitate the interpretation of the study or result or finding the result of the study, okay. That is about the data analysis. It includes summarization of the data, analyze the data based on person, place and time, and present the data or finding of the study in tables, graphs or maps for easy understanding and interpretation or clarification of the result or findings. Then seventh step is interpretation of the result of the study, okay. So using statistical method, that is biostatistical method, that is we used mainly in descriptive study, descriptive statistics such as average, that is frequency, percentage, okay, by using mean, median, mode, and even standard deviations, and even using chi-square test to find out the association, etc. to calculate the measures of our finding or research. Then interpretation of the data in light of the our objectives we are already set in the first steps of descriptive study, okay, and even considering the pattern of the occurrence of the particular disease in person, place and time. Then interpretation of result also include a formulation of a hypothesis, okay. It is nothing but it is an assumption, okay. It is an assumption statement made by the researcher about the expected relationship between the two or more variables of a particular disease. So it is made after at the end of the descriptive study. In the interpretation of the result, we formulate the hypothesis, okay. This hypothesis will be tested, that may be accepted or rejected by using the second study, that is the analytical study later, okay. So at the end of the descriptive study, we make the hypothesis or we formulate the hypothesis. Then eighth step is reporting and dissemination of the findings. Reporting and dissemination of the finding. Reporting means the data result, finding of the study has to be reported to the concerned authority, okay. That is the stakeholders, okay, health authority. And dissemination of the finding through publications, research publications, or through national or international conferences, etc. Okay, that is dissemination means generalizations, informing the result or finding of the study to the public. Okay, so prepare a research report based on our study, okay, or publication of the result or findings of the research to present the findings, okay, to the public. This should include studies objectives, methods of study, type of the design used, okay, method of data collections, even result and interpretation we made, the final findings, as well as any limitation to conduct the further study. Okay, then dissemination or generalizability of the study or generalization of the study. That is nothing but informing the public about the result of the study. That is dissemination and generalization of the study. Then ninth step is recommendation for the future studies or further studies after the descriptive study. So based on the findings, suggest the areas for further research. Okay, further studies including analytical studies, that is analytical epidemiological studies that could investigate the relationship between the cause and the or the risk factors or predisposing factors or determinants of the disease and the particular disease or outcome of the disease. Now in descriptive study, we only describe what is the problem. We don't analyze the relationship between the etiology or cause and the disease. In analytical study, we identify the relationship or association between the cause, etiological factors and the disease. Why this disease is most common or more common in that particular people. So recommendation for the further studies or future studies. Then last step is ethical consideration. So always when you do the research, okay, any research, the general research or community nursing research or for biomedical research, we have to follow ethical considerations. Thus ensure the study follows all the ethical guidelines, okay, especially with the or in respect to the participants' confidentiality. We have to maintain the confidentiality of the samples. We shouldn't disclose unless it is necessary, and we have to take the informed consent from the all the study participants. Okay, those who are willing to participate means those who give the consent only will involve as a study participants. Then appropriate use of the finding of the study or sensitive data we are collected from the samples. We don't disclose all the data, personal data of the samples. Okay, when it is necessary only we'll use the sensitive data, otherwise we'll keep this data confidentiality. That all comes under ethical considerations. So that is maintaining the confidentiality, taking informed consent or written consent from the samples, and appropriate use of the sensitive health data of the samples. So far we have discussed about the 10 important steps in descriptive epidemiology. Hope this video really benefits in your studies and exams. If you feel it is really worth and beneficial, please like, share and subscribe my channel, and stay tuned with the Angel Health Academy for the next 10 important academic video. Thank you.